7 o'clock.
Yeah, it takes.
Why are you not starting?
Yeah, start.
It's 7 o'clock. You forget what to do? Yeah? You forget what to do? What you done? You don't know what to do? Call him quickly. Pick up phone and call him.
Right, good evening, everybody. Sorry about the slight technical hitch at the beginning. The video stream stopped, but I'm here now. I'm alive. I'm fully functioning, just about. And welcome to the very first Off the Fence Hooks and Riffs music quiz. Great to have your company, and lovely to have you out there. At the moment, I think we've only got about 8 people registered, so we want more, so do tell your friends. And we've got the chat line going, so you can register on that as well, so I know you're out there. Well, I hope you've had a good day. We're planning to spend the next hour in each other's company. I've got some great questions all lined up for you. And the way it's going to work tonight is that we have 2 roughly half hours of 23 questions each. And at the end of the first half hour, I'll go through the answers. Tonight is very much a trial run. Forgive me if there's any sort of glitches or hitches. I'll do my best to keep everything smooth and running. You probably got a little glimpse of my wife who was looking over my shoulder earlier, so it's all a bit domesticated and homegrown tonight, but that's great. And really looking forward to having a bit of fun with you. What I'm going to do is now just move into the quiz itself, and we'll start it, all being well. Bring me back on screen. So let's just get this moving. Right. Let's. This is one of these situations. There we go. Right. So question 1. We hope you like the little musical accompaniment. Basically, you're going to have 1 minute for each question. So if you've got a piece of paper, if you're in teams, even if you're working on your own, scribble the answers down on a piece of paper. And in the meantime, if you're bored and you've done the question, you can put your magnifying glasses to the screen and see the CDs behind me. Question 1. How many grooves does a typical vinyl long player have? And the screen will move on automatically at the end of 1 minute, so you know roughly how much time you've got. And so I've got Matt on screen, who's joined the quiz. Cal, thank you for coming along, and he says, bring it on. We're on to question 2 now. How old was Elvis Presley when he had his first #1 single? That's for the slightly older members of the audience. Now, I'm being told by my technical assistant that the audio is a bit broken up with the music. So what I'll do is bring the music down. Now, the next question is question 3. We'll give question 2 just a little bit longer. It's a bit of a tough one, although I hope you promise out there not to cheat. No Google access, nobody poking their head around the corner. Nice to see Graham Pollybon, thank you for joining us. Question 3, what is Paul McCartney's middle name? Now, some of these are a little bit trick questions, just to make it more interesting. I've got my mascot, who may make 1 or 2 appearances during the course of the hour. He's an intelligent monkey, so he likes to get involved in quizzes. So question 3, what is Paul McCartney's middle name? And we'll go through the extra time on this one. You've got a minute, and I'm deliberately giving you that amount of time so you can write the answers down, and we'll stop after a minute on each one. Right, question 4. In music, how was Jiles Perry Richardson better known? By the way, if you want to donate to the charity tonight, this is not compulsory, obviously, but you can text 5 or OTF 5 to 785. That will donate £5. Don't feel obliged, because this is the kind of pioneering episode tonight. We'll see how it goes, and we're going to obviously review it afterwards. Hi to Felicity. Felicity Hyde Thompson has just joined us. Lovely to have you along, Felicity. So we've got Matt, Cal, Graham and Felicity. I hope you're all jotting down the answers. After the first 23 questions, we'll be giving you the answers, see how you got on. Right, we're on to question 5. You get about a minute for each question. And this one is, I'm quite proud of this one, and you'll be amazed when you hear who this is. Who is this very famous English pop star? So, I don't think he would thank me for putting his picture up like this tonight, but it's out there, it's a public picture, so it's fair game. Don't forget that the quiz tonight is in aid of Off the Fence, a charity that does a huge amount to help the issue of homelessness in Brighton and Hove. We also have a women's centre called Gateway that women in crisis, women undergoing difficulty can get involved in and receive support, advice. They can under normal circumstances, go along and spend some time with each other. And we have a schools team as well that goes into schools and supports children with mentoring and pastoral care. So question 6, who sang with KLF on their 1991 hit single Justified and Ancient? My wife just off screen is looking bemused, but she has joined as Star Kotik. You need to speak Russian. Hang on. I'm taking over the show here. I do apologise to my wife and the monkey. There we are. Looking, going to start a fight with my wife at the moment. So this is the Off the Fence Hooks and Riffs quiz. If you only just joined us, lovely to have you along. This is a kind of trial episode tonight. And you're getting a minute for each question. I did time this carefully, so I'm not going to press the forward on my mouse until we actually see this turn over. So here we go. Question 7. Going right back in time to the 30s and 40s for this one. Which instrument was Benny Goodman famous for playing? Benny Goodman. So any jazz big band fans out there might know the answer to this one. How are you doing all that? My wife's showing me.
Oh, I find it.
All right, so you can find this live in Google as well, so that's rather good. So, thanks for joining me tonight. The donation tonight is purely voluntary. You don't have to do it. If you want to, that's great. And if you are out there watching without putting something in the chat line, do say hello, because it would be really good to see how many people we've got there. So question 7, there are 23 in the first half hour. So we're doing pretty well. 12 minutes past 7 o'clock at the moment, just to prove this is actually live. Mind you, you can tell it's live from the number of mistakes. So question 8 is up on screen now. Which band member is missing from the lineup? Ray Manzarek, Robbie Krieger, and John Densmore. So which member of the band is missing from that lineup? That's quite an easy one, actually. We'll have a glass of orange. Healthy, pure orange juice, of course, no alcohol. Hope you're enjoying looking at the CDs in the background. You'll have to go up to a very, very large screen indeed to see the names. Quiz tonight is in aid of the Brighton and Hove charity, Off the Fence. We're calling this quiz Hooks and Riffs, the quiz that gives. And rather than asking people for a load of money in different directions, which we are doing, of course, we're trying to provide something that gives you something in return. Now, in these days of coronavirus, COVID-19, people are stuck at home. This is a way of providing some entertainment in the comfort of your own home. Question 9, which band had a UK number 2 hit in 1967 with Hole in My Shoe, which was covered in 1985 by Neil from the TV show The Long Ones? That's quite a long question, that. I got quite tired halfway through. Which band had a UK number 2 hit in 1967 with Hole in My Shoe, which was covered in 1985 by Neil from the TV show The Young Ones? You remember that show? It was rather good. It was pretty violent for a comedy show. It was very funny. I really must get the props sorted out for this by next week. We need some branding and perhaps a green screen behind me with pictures of the Mediterranean or Barbados or something like that. Callum's saying these are hard. Well, not that hard. You've got to be a certain age though, I guess. Question 10, who had a top 10 hit in 1987 called Shattered Dreams? And just to help you along there, put a picture from 1987 up on screen, so you may recognise them. I can name drop these guys because I was in Los Angeles a long time ago, a couple of years after 1987, and actually met the lead singer. Matt saying stumped on a number of these. Do keep the running commentary going. How are you doing, Graham? Apart from saying you're here, haven't actually heard from you since. Now, you're a musician, so you should be able to do these really easily. Question 10. Who had a top 10 hit in 1987 called Shattered Dreams? All right, question 11. I'm doing this hands-free at the moment. I hold my hands up. I'm not actually doing anything, which is rather good. It's all set up in advance. It took me ages, but once I've done it, of course, I'll be able to do it like this every week, so it'll be a lot easier. Question 11. Which famous singer-songwriter won an Academy Award in 2001 for the song Things Have Changed from the film Wonder Boys? So a famous singer-songwriter got an Academy Award in 2001 for the song Things Have Changed from the film The Wonder Boys. I haven't seen it myself. If you have, then this will be easy. Graham's come back and said, I am a certain age and they are still hard. That's great, Graham. Do feel free to put acerbic or amusing comments in the chat line. It helps me fill in with some stuff. Question 12. Right, this is pretty easy, I think, although you're going to have to recognise this musician from, I guess, the 70s, maybe even late 60s. Who is credited as having discovered Kate Bush? Now, again, people in the know, this is very easy indeed. I've got to put a few easy ones in. Felicity, how are you doing? Hope you're writing all the answers down. The music monkey here is slightly worried. Nobody's taught him how to write yet. So he feels at a bit of a disadvantage. But he'll just wave. It's very juvenile. He's my mascot for tonight. I might even give you a little CD clue on that last one. There you go. That's a very brief clue. Right, question 13. Which boy's name is the title of the debut album released by Amy Winehouse? So, a boy's name, Amy Winehouse selected for the name of her debut album. So, obviously, the name wasn't Back. That was an album after this, or Black. So, this should be fairly straightforward. Okay, so question 13, nice, easy, short and simple. Which boy's name is the title of the debut album released by Amy Winehouse? Callum says, yeah, he got that one. Okay, well done, Cal. That means you're in the lead with one right answer, I think, at the moment. Question 14, in 1963, which band became the first to reach #1 with their first 3 singles? Callum actually gave us a clue. If you're in the Stanoff family, he said sometimes a girl's name too, with the laughter symbol. That's an in-joke. So question 14, in 1963, which band became the first to reach #1 with their first 3 singles? Clue, it wasn't the Beatles. Because I know you'll all rush and put that down first. It wasn't the Beatles. There were other bands around in 1963, and they were doing quite well. So it's nearly 19 minutes past 7 o'clock. I give you the time every now and again just to prove that I'm real, not just a virtual quizmaster. There's no green screen behind me. Next question, question 15. By what name is Schubert's Symphony No. 8 better known? We got any classical music fans or boffins out there tonight? This is a pretty well-known question and answer anyway, so I don't think I'm pushing you too hard on this. Don't forget that tonight's quiz is in aid of Off the Fence, the Brighton and Hove-based charity that looks after the homeless, providing support, a laundry service, a washing and bathing service, and of course food. And we have a gateway centre as well that is a place, a safe place for women in crisis who are undergoing problems, can come and share with other women. And we also get into schools as well. Question 16. What is the common link between the Dave Clark 5, Fat Larry's band, and Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes? Now, apparently, after Fat Larry's band had a very successful period in the 80s, they had a bit of a lean period, so Fat Larry changed his name to Thin Larry. And after that, really didn't do very well indeed, became Skeletal Larry's band. And Harold Melvin also got fed up with the Blue Notes and changed it around. Red notes, orange notes, went through the spectrum. And Dave Clark 5, that was slightly tricky because if anybody left the band, they had to change the name of the band, which was a bit of a problem. Now, Matt has given me a cryptic message here, almost a song by Massive Attack. No idea what that means. Right, another one of my picture clues. I did enjoy this one. Question 17. Who is this US rock star? Clue, it's not a big clue, it's not Karl Marx. Karl Marx did not have a long and successful recording career, I've got to be honest. Das Kapital was never a big hit. On the other hand, Lennon, that is John Lennon, did have a successful career, by all accounts. Quite skeletal that. Yeah, sorry, pal. Anyway, you'll be amazed at when you realise who this is. A very well-known American rock star. Not Karl Marx and not Sid Lennon. Question 18. George Bernard Shaw's play Pygmalion was adapted to become which musical? So yeah, with a little bit of stage and screen as well. So all you musical people out there like going to the theatre to see their music, we've catered for you as well. Try to make it fair, covering all the bases. Hope the music isn't too intrusive, but I've tried to find a piece of music which is absolutely royalty free, by the way. I'm not breaking any laws or PRS or PPL situations here. It's absolutely free, and we'll give you a credit possibly later on. So George Bernard Shaw's play Pygmalion was adapted to become which musical? That's another quite easy one, I think, for people who are of a certain age again. I'm talking to you, Graham. Right, question 19. Who had a hit with La Bamba in 1987? I can give you a little clue here. This obviously wasn't the original. And it did find its way into a movie as well of the same name, La Bamba. Now, I hope I'm not hearing clicks from your end of people rapidly searching the internet. That would destroy the whole point of this quiz. The whole idea is these questions are not too difficult. You don't need to look them up. Well, I hope you're enjoying yourselves tonight. It's a nice way of spending isolation, and social distancing, and yet somehow be connected as well. Question 20. Don't forget, there's only 23 in the first half hour. We're going remarkably well on time at the moment, 25 past. Question 20. What was the name of Billy J. Kramer's backing group in the 1960s? This is very easy, actually, but only if you're about 70 years old. What was the name of Billy J. Kramer's backing group in the 1960s? So the chat has dried up now. I think either people have keeled over with boredom, fallen asleep, or it's all too difficult, or you're just bored. But do let me know how you're feeling, whether this is working. You're listening to Roy Stannard with the Hooks and Riffs quiz on behalf of Off the Fence, the Brighton and Hove-based charity. Question 21. By what name is singer Pauline Matthews better known? And I've rather mischievously put a recent picture of her on here. And in her heyday, she didn't look very much like this. Although her hair is not dissimilar. By what name is singer Pauline Matthews better known? It's not a great name for a singer, is it? Pauline Matthews. Sounds like the local butcher's wife. So a couple more questions before the end of the first half. I'll give you the answers in the 5 minutes I've allocated for the break. It might mean we slightly overrun by a few minutes after 8 o'clock, but not by very much. And in future, we're looking at the possibility of putting a video in the interval. Right, question 22. Which pop singer did Debbie Rowe marry? Now this is a tough one. I had to look this one up. Which pop singer did Debbie Rowe marry? You're probably asking, who's Debbie Rowe? I think she was an actress, but I might be wrong. Now, the reason we're using the same piece of music over and over again is that we're not allowed to use anything in the public domain over a long period of time. We'd have to pay quite a lot of money for it. So, being a chiseling sort of person, I wasn't prepared to do that. So we're using some free music instead. If anybody's out there who likes writing music, thinks you can come up with something better, then that would be great. Right, so we've got the end of the first half. So we've got just the holding screen. I'll give you a couple of seconds to make sure you've got all your answers written down. I'm going to have a quick drink. It is only orange. The monkey is getting a bit jealous. Wants some. Anyway, can't have any. I know I'm harsh. Right, we'll put the bins on for this next section. Okay, are you ready for the answers? Matt says, who is Debbie Rowe? I just asked that myself. I'll look it up at some point. Right, the answers to the first 23 questions. In fact, the 23 disappeared. I'm not sure what happened to that. Might be in the next half. Right, question 1. How many grooves does a typical long player have? Now, this was probably my favourite question. The answer is 2, one on each side. It's a continuous groove, of course. How old was Elvis Presley when he had his first #1 single? 21. Number 3, what is Paul McCartney's middle name? Another sort of trick one. His middle name is Paul. Now, his name isn't Paul McCartney. That would be weird. But his first name is James, like his father, and I suppose they agreed to separate the names out. In music, how was Jiles Perry Richardson better known? He was known as the Big Bopper, who came to a rather sudden end in a plane crash. Who is this famous English pop star? Or rather, dishevelled person without makeup? It's Boy George. Who sang with KLF on their 1991 hit single, Justified and Ancient? It was Tammy Wynette. Which instrument was Benny Goodman famous for playing? This is question 7. And it was a clarinet. Now, you all got that. Number 8, which band member is missing from the lineup of Ray Manzarek, Robbie Krieger, and John Densmore? Jim Morrison of Doors, Robbie Krieger, by the way. Number 9, which band had a UK #2 hit in 1967 with Hole in My Shoe, which was covered in 1985 by Neil from the TV show The Young Ones? It was Traffic, great band from the 60s and 70s. Number 10, who had a top 10 hit in 1987 called Shattered Dreams? It was Johnny Hates Jazz. Yep, I met them. They still talk about it. Number 11, which famous singer-songwriter won an Academy Award in 2001 for the song Things Have Changed from the film Wonder Boys? It was Bob Dylan, believe it or not. I didn't know that before this quiz, by the way. Number 12, who is credited as having discovered Kate Bush? I thought this was pretty easy. It's David Gilmour of Pink Floyd. And number 13, which boy's name was the title of the debut album released by Amy Winehouse? And Callum got this one. Frank. Of course, Frankie's name is his wife, my daughter-in-law. Hi to Frankie if she is listening. 14. In 1963, which band became the first to reach #1 with their first 3 singles? Clue, it wasn't the Beatles. It was another Liverpool band. Have you got it yet? Jerry and the Pacemakers. 15. By what name is Schubert's Symphony No. 8 better known? Easy, this one. Unfinished. The Unfinished Symphony. 16. What is the common link between the Dave Clark 5, Fat Larry's band, and Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes? Well, they're all led by drummers. Some people don't agree that they're musicians, but we won't go there. 17, who is this US rock star? That's the one who looked like Karl Marx. It was actually Michael Stipe. Now, that's probably a bit of a shock. George Bernard Shaw's play, Pygmalion, was adapted to become which musical? My Fair Lady. 19, who had a hit with La Bamba in 1987? It was Los Lobos. Okay, Matt's reminding me we should text. We should say that the text donation number is 785. 70085. Got me worried there for a minute, Matt. I thought I'd put the wrong number up. You're trying to catch me out there, I think. Matt, by the way, is the technical genius behind the hardware and software for this, and he's very kindly spent a lot of time putting this together. What was the name of Billy J. Kramer's backing group in the 60s? It was the Dakotas. Whoop. Right, I'm just going to pause that. By what name is singer Pauline Matthews better known? It was Kiki D. Which pop singer did Debbie Rowe marry? It was Michael Jackson. And we're on to the second half, so get your papers ready. You just missed that one. But It was number 23. Which artist released an album and movie under the same title of Get Rich or Die Trying? So, sorry, that was a bit speedy, that one. So, apologies. Question 24. What group with a palindromic name had a hit single that was also a palindrome? Now, anybody not know what a palindrome is? Ask now on chat. I might feel generous enough to tell you. Okay, it's a word that you can reverse, and it stays the same. So you can run the letters in the opposite direction, and you still make a word. This is question 24. We're 5 minutes into the second half. I think I need to give myself an extra minute in the interval next time. But that was the Matt Staples minute there. So, Matt, it's all your fault. You've been brilliant. So don't forget, you can donate £5 by texting OTF5 to 785, 70085. This question is for Howard if he's watching. Who is this member? Who is this? Is this the member of the California's rock royalty? I think I got my grammar a bit mixed up on this one. Forgive me, I have to put these questions down fairly rapidly. Who is this member of California's rock royalty? I'll give you a big clue on this one. It's a woman. What do you mean that wasn't a big clue? And she might be in a wheelchair there, I'm not sure. Doesn't look terribly happy. But an absolutely huge star in the 70s and even into the 80s. Okay, how are you doing so far? I should have asked who had 22 out of 22 in that first half, but we'll do that at the end. Question 26. Which supermarket is mentioned in Chaz and Dave's song Rabbit? Supermarkets very much in the news at the moment, so I thought I'd give them this one even more publicity in a vain hope to get them to sponsor this, I think. Which supermarket is mentioned in Chaz and Dave's song Rabbit? Don't forget you can go to our website and donate that way as well if you don't like texting. www.offthefence.org.uk. And there's a very easy mechanism on the homepage to donate by card, and you can put in vast amounts of money if you really want to. Question 27. Which famous group performed the first ever song on Top of the Pops in 1964? Do you remember the first Top of the Pops in 1964? I don't think I do, actually. I was about 8 at the time. I don't think I was allowed to watch Top of the Pops. It was a bit racy in my household. Scantily clad women dancing, that sort of thing. But in the first few shows, there were huge stars taking part in the show, and that's a little bit of a clue. Then I've already told you they're a famous group. I'll give you another clue though. It wasn't the Beatles. That's the answer to nearly every question in this quiz. It wasn't the Beatles. Question 28. We're racing through these now. Which country did Celine Dion represent when singing in the Eurovision Song Contest in 1988? Celine Dion did take part in the Eurovision Song Contest in 1988. Which country did she represent, and how on earth did she manage to recover her artistic credibility after that? Or did she anyway? Shy in 1983. band had a hit with Too Shy in 1983. 83, and I'll give you a clue, it was Too Shy. I agree, it's not a big clue. Question 31. Now this is a classic. Which famous comedian made a record called Please Mr. Custer in 1960? Okay, it's 1960. I know it's a long time ago. I'll do some more recent questions next week. Which comedian? I'll give you a clue. He was short. Now, nearly every comedian that Britain's ever produced, it wasn't Ronnie Corbett. They've all been short. I don't know why. Stunted growth if you're a comedian. A short, famous comedian made a record called Please, Mr. Custer in 1960. I'm not sure if that was General Custer or not. I don't think he was ever known as Mr. Custer in the Union side in the Civil War. I don't think it was the Civil War. No, he was fighting Indians. I'm supposed to be a history teacher as well. Question 32. Which group had a hit record in the 1970s, the 1980s, and the 1990s? And each time they had a completely different lineup. Callum says Top of the Pops was essential viewing and confirms that I did allow him to watch it. Probably from the pram onwards. In fact, it was compulsory. And wheel the pram in front of the television and say, oh, that Echo and the Bunnymen, go and watch that. Which group had a hit record in the 70s, 80s and 90s, and each time they had a completely different lineup? This is not a trick question, but it is a very amusing question and answer, this one. You've got to think a bit laterally. Question 32. So a group had a hit in each decade, 70s to the 90s, and not one member of the group was common to each of those decades. Question 33. The song Killing Me Softly with his song was written about which American singer-songwriter? You don't need to give me the composer, and I'll give you a little clue. Roberta Flack had the hit with it, but the song was about an American, very well-known American singer-songwriter, particularly at that time. So, give me the name of the singer-songwriter. Time for another drink. This is orange, I promise you. By this stage, I wish it worked, actually. So, Killing Me Softly with his song. Who is it dedicated to? Question 34. Which famous pop star was christened Charles Westover? I'm not sure if that was Westover, or Westover, or Wes Tover. Feels like a Howard moment. Howard is the co-presenter on the radio show I do on a Sunday between 5 and 7 on Burgess Hill Radio. And his humour is a little off the wall sometimes. So which famous pop star was named originally Charles Westover? The quiz tonight is benefiting Off the Fence, the Brighton and Hove homeless and women's charity that also has a schools outreach mission. And your donations will be gratefully received. Text OTF5 to 70085. Question 35. The town of Titipu in Japan the Tower of London and Venice in Italy all have a connection, a musical connection. What is it? Titipu, I'm not even sure that's how it's pronounced. I'll probably get people complaining about that any moment. Titipu in Japan, Tower of London, Venice in Italy. There is a musical connection between all three. Tell me what that is. I'm not sure I can even give you a clue to this one, because it's probably outside my experience as well. I will give you a little clue. They're all composed by English people. Question 36. Which pop band named itself after an American fire truck? I'm going to give you a huge clue on this. They were American. I know you hate me now, don't you? Which pop band named itself after an American fire truck? Clue, they were American. But they weren't firemen as far as I'm aware. And then that's just a conjecture on my part, they might have been. So we're on question 36. There are 20 to go. It's a bit like being slightly older and buying green bananas. You don't know if you're going to make it to the end of this quiz. It's now coming up to 10 to 8. For some reason, the second set of questions are taking longer than the first. Not sure why. We'll look into that. Which American soul singer's dad played football for Glasgow Celtic? Now, I suspect this is expanding your reservoir of knowledge, this one. Which American soul singer's dad played football for Glasgow Celtic? And this was completely revelatory for me. I had no idea whatsoever. And it's a great question. So, somebody who's quite well known in America, died 4 years ago now, I think. His dad played football for Glasgow Celtic. That is a classic music trivia question, isn't it? So, enjoy this one. It's not the sort of thing you can Google either. I can hear the clicking of keypads as you try and prove me wrong. So Hooks and Riffs is a new music quiz. We're planning to do it weekly, same time on a Wednesday every week, unless I hear from a huge number of people. Another time is better. We're on question 38. No Sleep Till Brooklyn was a hit single for which group in 1987? I'll give you a clue. It wasn't the cast of Grease. Wasn't the Ramones, and it wasn't the stand-in cast for West Side Story. No Sleep Till Brooklyn was a hit single for which group in 1987? I'll give you another clue. I don't think they're on Top of the Pops. Okay, 39 for the pop fans. Justin Timberlake was formerly a vocalist for which band? Well, that probably counts Callum out. He won't dare admit he knows the answer to this one. I think Matt probably won't either. But Felicity, I would hope you might, if you're still there. Put an exclamation mark if you are. Callum insists he does know this one. That's very embarrassing, Callum. I'll keep your secret. It won't be all over Facebook tomorrow. My granddaughter Rome is taking part in this quiz. I would imagine her knowledge of 1960s music is fairly limited. Now, there is a strange Sussex connection with this next one. Which band had a 70s hit with Son of My Father? Sorry, that was my attempt at singing. I won't do that again. And one of this band actually worked as a security guard in a Worthing insurance company headquarters for most of the late 90s and early 2000s. And they still tour occasionally when people can't afford to pay them not to. So which band had a 70s hit with Son of My Father? I'm not sure what else you can be if you're not a son of your father or your daughter. It's a bit odd. Because it means the same thing as a chip off the old block, which is probably a better name for the song. Question 41, we're racing through now. 7 minutes left. Shock rock star and friend of presidents. I think this is really easy, but Felicity's still here. Yikes. I'm not sure what that means. Get used to being famous if you're on this. Felicity Hyde Thompson. Friend of royalty. Blue-blooded. I'm only winding you up. Shock rock star and friend of president. So this guy plays golf. That's a bit of a giveaway. And he's been playing golf with presidents over the last 20 years or so. Not exactly alternative rock and roll, but still a shock rock star. I'll give you another clue. He was never a member of Black Sabbath. Question 42. What was the original name of dear old Cliff Richard's backing group, The Shadows, before they realised there was already an American group with the same name? That's not Cliff Richard, by the way. There wasn't a band called Cliff Richard in America. But what's the original name of Cliff's backing group, The Shadows, before they realised there was already an American group with the same name? Could have changed their name to Shadows of Their Former Selves, I suppose. But no, they went for a completely new name. I've just confused you, I know. What was the name of the Shadows before they became the Shadows? There's an American band that got there first. So you are the pioneering participants in the very first Hooks and Riffs quiz on behalf of Off the Fence, the homeless charity, and the women's charity in Brighton and Hove. Go to offthefence.org.uk if you want to explore more of what the charity gets up to. 43, who had a hit single with Werewolves of London? Who had a hit single with Werewolves of London? Subsequently used in comedy horror movies, but it wasn't written for a movie at the time. Give me the name of the writer and the performer. That was a bit of a clue, actually. Performer meaning solo. So it was one musician, not a band. Hope you're impressed with my music knowledge that I hastily garnered over the last 3 days. Question 44. Who wrote the music and lyrics to the musical Anything Goes? Because this is a fairly elderly stage musical, I've put a picture of the culprit, the composer, on screen for you. And That is a bow tie, and that is a sort of gauche, nonchalant elbow on a piano. I've been putting that same gauche, nonchalant elbow on my lounge table at home, putting this quiz together, and I've now got repetitive strain injury, or tennis elbow as it's called. I'm prepared to withstand huge amounts of pain in order to bring you this quiz. Matt has said, seriously, I think Everything Goes should be the name for my retention of musical facts. That's good. Matt, you're doing this quiz next week. You've got all the gags. Now, question 45. How many times are the words Hey Jude mentioned in the Beatles song of the same name? Is it 14, 24, or 34? Hey Jude is sung how many times in the song? 14 times, 24, or 34 times? If after all this pain and anxiety you want to donate, then simply text OTF5 to 70085. Perhaps we should include a money back option. If you don't feel you've got your money's worth, we'll explore that. And if you want to donate £5,000, just put 3 extra noughts. I'm sure we'll cope with that. Question 46. What are the songs Killer by Adamski, sung by Seal of course, Paranoid Android by Radiohead, and True Faith by New Order have in common? My wife's just come into the room and made a funny face at me, which is trying to put me off. What do the songs Killer by Adamski, Paranoid Android by Radiohead, and True Faith by New Order all have in common? It took me months of research to find this one. Months. That's on top of the day job. I've tried to inspire you by doing this quiz in front of thousands of CDs. It looks like thousands, but in fact it's just a mock-up of the CD shelf. They're not real at all. Look, nothing there. Okay, 47. Question 47. Who sang the theme for the Bond film From Russia with Love? Must have some Bond fans out there. Come on, own up. Who sang the theme for the Bond film From Russia with Love? One of the very early ones. Just before Goldfinger, I think. And I'll give you a clue. Wasn't Paul McCartney. I'll give you another clue, because I'm feeling generous. We're getting towards the end. It wasn't Shirley Bassey. Okay, I'll give you another one. It wasn't Duran Duran. That's pretty much all. It wasn't the Sex Pistols. There you go. Question 48. Which group formed in Oxford in the late 1980s and took their name from a song by Talking Heads? So, Oxford band in the late 80s were inspired to take their name from a song by Talking Heads. Now, there are a number of bands from Oxford around the same time, so you've got to work this one out. I actually think it's quite easy than I would, because I know the answer. Monkey knows this one. quite excited. He's never had the opportunity to take part in a quiz before, live. Question 49. Who had hits in the 70s with Everybody Dance and Good Times? So I thought I'd throw in a really easy one here, just to make sure everybody gets at least 1 mark. I know we're 2 minutes over now, it's 2 minutes past 8 o'clock. There are only a few more questions, 56 in total, so we've got another 7. I can't speed it up because I've timed the slides at a minute each. So you have to grin and bear it. Get the other half, partner, or if there's anybody else in the house, get them making a cup of tea, see you through to the end. If anybody's watching with you, I'd like to know that as well. You know, it'd be nice to know who else is out there, even though they're not actually taking part. And if you've got the link, we'll expect you to share it with as many people as possible for next week. This is a kind of trial run through. We didn't expect large numbers tonight. We just wanted to make sure it works. It does, thanks to Max Staples for making the technology work. Question 50. In which month of the year do crowds visit Graceland to honour Elvis on the anniversary of his death? Not sure why I put crowds. It could be just one person. Doesn't make any difference to this question. In which month of the year do people visit Graceland to honour Elvis on the anniversary of his death? That's a cheerful question. Some of you out there are feeling devastated because you didn't know Elvis was dead. I'm really sorry to break it to you in that way. It was a long time ago, mind you. It's Elvis Presley, by the way, not Elvis Costello or any other Elvis. Question 51. Okay, this is a tough one. How many black keys are there on a standard piano? As opposed to a small piano, a midget piano, or a guitar, I suppose. So, how many black keys are there on a standard piano? Serious musicians. Matt Staples. Elvis is not dead, apparently. This is a bit of a shock to me. All those posthumous albums that I've bought. Posthumous at all, man. Still making music somewhere. Just it sounds very similar to the music he made before. So we're getting towards the end. It's 5 minutes past 8. I'm giving you 5 minutes extra at the moment for your money. That's if you've given any. An added bonus. Question 52. Who wrote the song Rhapsody in Blue? Going back to Elvis again, Matt says there was a story in the Mirror last month about Elvis not being dead. It's very worrying. Not as bad as some of the stories in other papers recently. I mean, papers used to be non-fiction. I don't know how they've suddenly made the transition into fiction. It seems to be the trend. Okay, question 52. Who wrote the song Rhapsody in Blue? Now, one serious fact about the current crisis is that the number of women ringing helplines because of abuse, domestic abuse, has gone up. For obvious reasons, confined to home, no way out in some cases. And that's very much part of the work we do at the Gateway Centre and the team attached to it. At the moment, my screen's gone dead. I didn't expect that. Let's see if we... Oh. Okay, it's come back. That's probably a small... Let's just go from the current slide, shall we? Right. Okay. I think we've got this one now, haven't we? So I'll just carry on. apologies for this. Let's get it back. Okay. Let's go to slideshow. This is everybody's worst nightmare when things like this go wrong. But let's just try again here. Okay. Right, we're going to do it slightly differently, just to get through, as we've only got a couple of questions next. Question 53, from which 1968 film did the band Duran Duran get their name? For film fans out there. And for some reason, my PowerPoint doesn't want to play from the current slide, but okay, let's just go back this way. This is a quick reprise through the entire quiz, in case you forgot any of the questions first time around. Okay, which 68 film did the band Duran Duran get their name? Those with fantastic eyesight will be able to read the next question as well. So let's just go, let's move that around. Sorry about that. And let's go to the next one. Okay, slight hiccup. Yes. That was going so well. Here we are. Question 54. The pop groups Ace of Base and the Cardigans both hail from which country? So pop groups Ace of Base and the Cardigans both hail from which country? I think I realise the problem now. The meter wasn't fed in the last 5 minutes, so we've run out of power. So this is now being generated by clockwork, me pressing a pedal underneath the table. So it's a bit old school, but we'll get there by hook or by crook. So question 54, the pop groups Ace of Base and the Cardigans both hail from which country? Luckily, my stream is still running, so I couldn't duck out and make my escape. Could have run out the door and absolved myself of all guilt. Question 55, which 90s singer had a comeback in 2016 with When the Bass Line Drops? Which 90s singer had a comeback in 2016 with When the Bass Line Drops? Matt says, keep pedaling, Roy, you can do it. Yeah, well, I'm nearly there. Question 55, which 90s singer had a comeback in 2016 with When the Bass Line Drops? And, okay, coming up to the last question. Means I can do it faster now, so you're going to get less than a minute. Question 56, which folk singer sang on Led Zeppelin's The Battle of Evermore? Which English folk singer, there's a clue, sang on Led Zepp's The Battle of Evermore? So I'll give you a few seconds on this last slide, and we'll look into why the PowerPoint stopped all the way through. I didn't touch anything, honestly. Matt's going to have a go at me afterwards, ruining his technology. But we got there. It's I think it's still big enough to read on screen. So, okay, which folk singer sang on Led Zepp's The Battle of Evermore? The irritating music has stopped as well, so that's a good thing. Right, we're on to questions and answers for the second half. So only a little way to go now. The question that should have been in first half hour, which is actually in the second, is number 23. Which artist released an album and movie under the same title of Get Rich or Die Trying? It was 50 Cent. Which group, this is 24, with a palindromic name, had a hit single that was also a palindrome? Simple one, this. ABBA and SOS. And who is this member of California's rock royalty? Now, I'm disappointed Howard wasn't joining us tonight. One of his favourites. I think he loved her to bits, both the way she looked and the way she sang. Linda Ronstadt. 26. Which supermarket is mentioned in Chaz and Dave's song Rabbit? Well, it was Sainsbury's, believe it or not. Nowadays, of course, it would be Tesco because they've taken over most of the world. 27. Which famous group performed the first ever song on Top of the Pops in 1964? Well, it was one of the very biggest names. 1964 was the Rolling Stones. Remember them well, and Callum does from his pram as well. No, I was in the pram, not Callum. Well, no, I wasn't. I was 8 years old. Slow developer, though. I didn't talk till I was 5 years old. Which country did Celine Dion represent when singing in the Eurovision Song Contest in 1988? Well, it was Switzerland, believe it or not. Of course, she's a French speaker, so it had to be somebody with a French accent. Graham, you're just leaving. That's all right. I'll sign you out. Yeah, as long as you got a note from your mum. Good job, Roy. Had to leave as dinner calling. I don't think my score will trouble anyone. Well, it probably will, actually, judging by everybody else's response. In musical notes, which is bigger, a crotchet or a semi-breve? Semi-breve is the answer to that. Which band had a hit with Too Shy in 1983? It was Kajagoogoo. Which famous comedian made a record called Please Mr. Custer in 1960s? In the 60s, it was Charlie Drake. Which group had a hit record in the 1970s, the 80s, and the 90s? And each time they had a totally different lineup. Now, this was, I suppose, a bit of a trick question. It was the England World Cup squad football. So, yeah, I know. But I love that question. The song Killing Me Softly with his song was written about which American singer-songwriter? And the answer was Don McLean, famous for American Pie, of course. Which famous pop star, although the song was written about his performance of Vincent, just to give you some more unnecessary facts, which famous pop star was christened Charles Westover? It was Del Shannon. That was probably the toughest question. The town of Tilipu in Japan, the Tower of London, and Venice in Italy. What's the common link? All are settings for Gilbert and Sullivan operas. Which pop band named itself after an American fire truck? Well, it was REO Speedwagon. And yeah, you all knew that. Now this is a great one. Which American soul blues singer dad played football for Glasgow Celtic? It was Gil Scott-Heron. No, I didn't know that. That's a great fact. No Sleep Till Brooklyn was a hit single for which group in 1987? It was the Beastie Boys, who didn't record a Bond theme, by the way. Justin Timberlake was formerly a vocalist in which band? It was NSYNC. Which band had a 70s hit with Son of My Father? It was the Legends, that are known as Chicory Tip. Which shock rock star and was a friend of President's appeared in the screen? It was Alice Cooper. And what was the original name of Cliff Richard's backing group, the Shadows, before they realised it was already an American group with the same name? It's the Drifters. And who had a hit single with Werewolves of London? Warren Zevon. Who wrote the music and lyrics to the musical Anything Goes? Cole Porter. How many times are the words Hey Jude mentioned in the Beatles song? It's 24. What do the songs Killer by Adamski, Paranoid Android by Radiohead, and True Faith by New Order have in common? The titles are not mentioned in the song, not part of the lyrics. Who sang the theme for the Bond theme from Russia with Love? It was Matt Monro. Which group formed in Oxford in the late 80s and took their name from a song by Talking Heads? It was, of course, Radiohead. Bit of a clue in the Radiohead Talking Head link. Who had hits in the 70s with Everybody Dance and Good Times? That was a nice easy one to make sure you got a score. It was Chic. In which month of the year do crowds visit Graceland to honor Elvis on the anniversary of his death? It was, or is, August. How many black keys are there on a standard piano? 36, sorry, I beg your pardon. 36. Who wrote the song Rhapsody in Blue? It was George Gershwin, of course. And from which 1968 film did the band Duran Duran get their name? It was Barbarella. Great film. And 54, the pop groups Ace of Base and the Cardigans. From which country? Sweden. Which 90s singer had a comeback in 2016? When the bass line drops, it was Craig David. Which folk singer sang on Led Zepp's The Battle of Evermore? It was Sandy Denny. Well, how many did you get right out of that lot? 56. If you could quickly type the answer in the chat, top chat. You've got to be honest, by the way. None of this, I got 56 out of 56, because I won't believe you, particularly with the halt in the PowerPoint about 3/4 of the way through. But fortunately, the PowerPoint, you can still see it on screen, so it didn't affect it too much. So next week we'll iron out that glitch. Still don't know. I'm gonna have a go at finding out why that happened. But we got through it. We're 19 minutes late, so I may cut the number of questions next time down to 50 or something. And I'd like you all to be with me next week at the same time. Question number 7, Callum has just asked, was which instrument was Benny Goodman famous for playing? It was clarinet. Did I miss that out? Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. And Callum just wanted to embarrass me. But it was a clarinet, Benny Goodman. Anybody else need answers that they didn't catch the first time around? And Bruce Foster, thank you very much for taking part, Bruce. A big supporter of Off the Fence. And he says, Donada, looking forward to next week. So thank you for taking part. Anybody else who took part and didn't take part in the chat, do let me know. I don't think we had huge numbers this week, but it was really to prove the concept, make sure it works, and to make me feel very stupid over an entire hour and 20 minutes. So that was successful. Okay, let me have the scores. Cal admits that he just missed the answer to question number 7. It was clarinet for about the 10th time. And so Matt says, nope, they won't help me, I'm afraid. So answers, what's that? The answers won't help you. I hope they will. So Callum, well, you're being very honest. You got 14 out of 56. So you're setting the bar quite low there, Cal. But then that's quite good for the morale of everybody else. So I suspect 1 or 2 people got less than that. I probably would have got about that as well. So I hope you've enjoyed the quiz. Can you all just put your scores up on the chat so we get an idea how people have done and which sort of order we're in? And let's go for get the final screen. You can actually see my mouse wandering across the screen here, which is very unprofessional. And there we are. Let's go this way. There. This is let's see if we can get it. No, we can't. Just got very small there, didn't it? This is where I wind you up by playing around with the screen. And okay, thanks for playing. See you at the same time next week. Don't forget you can donate by texting OTF 5 to 785, 7085, 70085. Matt Staples got 12. So you came second on that basis. And Bruce Foster got 0, but I suspect Bruce only took part in the very end. And Felicity hasn't actually given me a score at all, but has paid me a nice compliment. Thank you. And thank you all for taking part. Natasha took part for about 3 seconds and got none right because of it.
No, I have Sweden right.
Oh, you got Sweden right, did
Yeah,
you? Oh,
Ace
one.
of Base. Yeah,
All
everyone
right.
knows Ace of Base.
Fantastic. Ace of Base and the Cardigans. So, thank you ever so much. I've enjoyed this. I'm probably going to do it. Well, I'm going to do it next week. Hope you all can join me and we'll promote it more widely next week. And I want all of you to bring 10 or even 100 friends with you. So if you can promote it to death on your social media, that would be fantastic. But for now, it's goodbye. And it's goodbye from Natasha. That was her hand. And it's goodbye from the monkey. Goodbye.
And thank you.
And thank you for taking part. Bye-bye.